wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me.
We are waging war on mediocrity. It ain't no friend of me. This is your boy, the motivational teacher to the masses, bringing you again another edition of Motivational Monday, episode 141. Man, I can't believe that we've been doing this for almost 2 years. This whole series started as a result of having time between the great I am and my awaken I am during the pandemic. And we are 141 episodes in. If you would, please invite your top 5 friends and families with you. If they can't grow with you, if they can't go with you, if they can't grow with you, they can't go with you. I'm multitasking right here. For all my replayers, hey, Vaniqua, thanks for joining us. For all the replayers, give me about 45 seconds as I share this out to my top 5, because I wish that none of us get left behind. So I'm going to share this. If you would, man, go ahead and get at your top 5. Let them know that the motivational teacher is going live. If you can, get in the chat box, invite them. It's Monday night. You know, it's going to be some bread breaking, some word slinging, and we're going to get to this thing tonight. Tonight is a really, really, really good message. It's kind of titled The Mistake Gap, but we're going to get into that for a second, but because we got to talk about in life, we're not going to always hit the mark. Sometimes we're going to miss the mark. And we got to know how to deal with ourselves when we don't always get what we want out of this thing, or when we think we have the best ideas and the best ideas doesn't pan out the first time. We got to know how to deal justly with ourselves in that situation and not hold it against ourselves for the rest of our life. So tonight we're going to have a little bit about that conversation. If you're having a good week out there, man, holler at your boy. Y'all know it's Monday. Get on this thing. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. All right, let's get to it. It looks like I'm having some difficulties on my Facebook from what I'm hearing. Hopefully that gets figured out soon. And y'all, they texted me asking me and Facebooking me. I'm like, man, I wish I could help you. Okay, it looks like it's back up. So go ahead and let your cousin and mom and them know. If somebody's out there in Facebook land, let me know that you see me and that you're out there, because I saw where it had frozen earlier. So if you're out there, let me know in Facebook land. Give me a shout out. Great week already. Nice. The Don, future DON, Director of Nursing. Glad you're off to a quick start. I'm doing the same too. I think it's just us on YouTube right now. Hopefully Facebook will catch up once they fix whatever bug that's in it. So if you're out there in Facebook land, holler at your boy and let me know that the bug has been fixed. If not, we're going to roll with this on YouTube, and then I'll repost it later on Facebook. Episode 141, Awaken Your I Am. Tonight, I want to talk about the mistake gap. We've been talking about these growth gap traps. The reason why so many people don't get to where they want to go out of this life, that there's gaps that we must fill. And we define that word gap as where I am today from where I want to be tomorrow. That space in between, and we called it our growth gap. And now we have growth gap traps. We have design enemies that are trying to distort us or don't want us to reach the best version of ourselves. We have design enemies that wants to hinder us from becoming the best version of ourselves. And if we're not careful, we will allow these growth gap traps to hinder what God wants to do in our life, or what the great I am wants to do through my awakened I am. Tonight, we're talking about the mistake gap. Motivational teacher, what is the mistake gap? First of all, let's take that word mistake. And I like to say it this way. Let's not call it mistake. Let's call it mistake. You had a mistake. You had it wrong. Hey, Virginia, thank you for joining us on YouTube. Facebook got to catch up. I don't know. I think they're having some bug problem with Facebook. So we're going to roll with this on YouTube. I'm still getting messages in my inbox, messenger about Facebook. So we're going to roll with this on YouTube right now. Hey, the mistake gap. almost made me think my purpose wasn't for me. Come on, Vaniqua. That mistake gap, man. And honestly, this is one, man, like all of these gaps are important. I know I said every week, but the mistake gap shows up in many different forms, in many different ways. The mistake gap is something that if you're going to do something great in your life, you're going to have to overcome the mistake gap. That word means to be wrong about. Mistake. It's okay if you have a mistake. Imagine all of these movies that we go to and that we marvel in, and we see the movies on TV. We see the movies, the Marvel movies. Like I just told y'all yesterday on Bridge of the Nations, we just went and saw Sonic the Hedgehog with my boys. Imagine how many mistakes they had in filming that movie. Imagine they say, research says that it takes on average 2 to 3 months to shoot a movie, even when you got the cast, when you got the individual, just to go through the lines and to get the hour and a half of footage you need to play on the big screen. How many mistakes do they have in one movie that reaches the big screen? They have multiple hours of mistakes, but they don't focus on the mistakes. They focus on the takes that they have right. And that's the challenge for a lot of us over our lives. We spend so much time on the mistake that we negate the part that we get right. I just broke bread. It's so easy to focus on the thing that I got. Now, I'm not opposed to coaching. The superstars or the elite always focus on the 10% that they need to improve upon in order to get to the best version of themselves. I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying let's not walk away from the 90% that we're doing well and spend the majority of our time obsessing over the 10%. See, you got a gifting package. Until we learn how to operate in our gifting package, we will always be like a hamster on that wheel, or we'll be like a dog chasing our tails. If we don't understand our gifting package, we can spend a lot of times in areas where it doesn't yield us any fruit. We're talking about the mistake gap. The mistake gap. And the challenge for a lot of people that are ascribing to be something greater is that we spend so much time in areas that do not yield us fruit. That's the first mistake that most of us have not even acknowledged, that I spent the majority of my time working in an area that is not fruitful for my life. Oh, let me break bread. The first mistake is saying, man, I don't have a vision, or I don't have a purpose for my life. Until you gain purpose, until you gain destiny, until you get a vision for what you want with your life, you're living a mistake. But one thing I love about the great I am who awakens our I am, that he will restore the years that the cankerworm stole. He will restore those years. He will renew your youth when you start finding your purpose, man. It's almost like you find a new reborn day. You got born again. I got born again when I found my purpose in this earth. I love to say it. You got two birthdays. You got the birthday when you came into this earth, and you got the birthday when you came into your purpose. Oh my God, that's worth it. That life is worth living right there. Holla at me, YouTube. It's just us tonight. It's just us tonight. Facebook is having some problems. YouTube is just us tonight. Holla at your boy. Y'all gonna have to be active tonight. I need some comments in that box. I see some eyes adding up. I need some comments in that box. Check this out now. Check this out. You got two birthdays. Yeah. And the challenge with a lot of us, we're talking about the mistake gap. If I don't give my life direction and my life doesn't have purpose, how do I know when I made a mistake? How do I know when I missed the mark? I had one friend of mine said, sometimes you got to miss it to make it. How do I know when I made a mistake unless my life has value and my life has purpose? Come on, man. I'm bread breaking early in here. Mistake, to be wrong about. I love this that John Maxwell said, growing can be a messy business. Growing can be a messy business. I go back and listen to some of my videos that I did in 2015. I love the fact, listen, I didn't even get on social media till I started doing motivational speaking. I go back and listen to some of my videos in 2015. It wasn't the fact that I wasn't that I wasn't giving my best effort. It was the fact that I hadn't grown enough in order to be able to communicate to the masses, or to be able to have this conversation like I'm having with you right now. See, I'm telling you, like, growing can be a messy business. Like, I go back and listen to those videos, and I spend more time giving quotes from other people than I do even telling my own story or revelations that the great I am had communicated to my I am. I spend more time developing and talking about other stories than I do giving meat and bread that sustains your life. And see, I think that's when I start becoming the motivational teacher, I became more comfortable with my own revelation, that I didn't need a validation. I didn't need for people to say, okay, motivational teacher, that's new and that's good. But once I start moving into that motivational teacher mode, and I did so many videos that were mistakes, that it led me to where I'm supposed to be now. Without those mistakes, I'm not sitting in this seat breaking bread with you the way I am. Growing can be a messy business. Growing can be pain, but when we learn by grace and by the greater I am. I heard Vaniqua just said, I just had my purpose birthday, April 2nd, 2022. Come on, Vaniqua. Just had my, man, I know we, I know when we, when we are on a journey like we are, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. I say April 2nd, 2023, Vaniqua, you celebrate like it's your birthday. And you party like it's your, like 50 say, and you party like it's your birthday. Because we gotta start celebrating these milestones and understanding that, man, I found a new revelation of who I am through him. I have awakened another piece of my I am. And in the process of awakening my I am, there are gonna be some mistakes. But we can't judge ourselves permanently by the mistakes that we make. Mistakes, not mistakes, mistakes. It's going to be some mistakes, but we can't be too harsh on ourselves. A mistake is another, Warren Bennett said, a mistake is another way of doing things. Doesn't mean that there's a life sentence for your mistake. Doesn't mean that your life is meant to live in this mistake your whole life. Doesn't mean that God, the great I am, is judging you from the position of your mistake your whole life. Man, come on, man. A lot of times in the area where we make huge mistakes, there's something on the inside of us that gravitates us to it. I'm telling you right now, one of the biggest mistakes when I was younger, I always had a desire not to be in poverty. I grew up in, and I'm telling you my story. I grew up in poverty. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of things. In the fourth grade, I had 2 pair of pants, a pair of gold sweatpants, and a pair of blue jeans. And since that moment, I said, man, I don't want to be broke again in my life. And so that poverty spirit that grew up in me has always been an enemy of mine. In my early 20s, I made a lot of mistakes trying to overcome poverty. I thought I overcame poverty by the things that I had. I had a big fancy car. I had a big fancy house. I had a high paying job. And in my mind, this is how you overcome poverty. See, my passion to overcome poverty was a part of my mistake, that I didn't fully, completely understand how to overcome that thing in my life. Still got people hit me up trying to figure out what's going on over here on Facebook. I still didn't understand what it actually meant to overcome poverty. So in my limited knowledge and my limited information, we talked about the knowledge gap. In my limited knowledge and my lack of understanding, I made some mistakes that led me to a foreclosure, that led me to having to let my car go back, that led me to some situations where I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I changed careers 4 different times, all because I was passionate about overcoming poverty, but I made mistakes because I did it in limited knowledge and limited information. Now let me land this plane. Motivational teacher. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of the areas that you're most passionate about, whether I want a big happy family or whether I want a 6-figure job, most of those areas that you're passionate about, you will make mistakes along the journey to complete, because he's the author and finisher of your faith. He's the author that he gave you the vision and the dream. He's the finisher of your faith. But in between, I like to call it life, which is trial and error. There is not just one set way for you to get to your goals and your dreams. There's not just, if I do just this one thing, I will automatically get there. But until you get to that one thing, there is a journey that are filled with ups, downs, crosses, and abouts to get you to that place. He's the author and finisher of your faith. He's the Alpha and he's the Omega. But in between, man, there are a lot of twists and turns in between. And because there are a lot of twists and turns in between, this mistake gap is natural and normal for anyone that's trying to do something great in their lives. When you're trying to be the first in your generation to do something, when you're trying to be the first of your family to do something, when you're trying to do something above and beyond eyes can see and ears can hear, mistakes will happen. Go ahead and write that down in your journal. It will not be a perfect climb to my journey, to my destiny, to my goals, and to my dreams. Let's settle it right there. It will not be perfect. Let's settle it right there. Settle that within yourself, that there's going to be some nights where I cry. There's going to be some nights where I stand up. There's going to be a little anxiousness. Let's go ahead and settle that within yourself and understand that the great I am understands the path to greatness. Oh my God, don't beat yourself up because there's a little anxiousness in the midst of what you're doing. It just means that I'm outside of my comfort zone. Oh my God, don't beat yourself up because sometimes you might shed a little eye water. Don't beat yourself up. Now it just means that I'm at the end of me. I wish more people had a little anxiousness. I wish more people cried a few tears. I wish more people went out, made decisions that stretched them instead of staying so comfortable inside this old little box that they gave me back in Waverly, Alabama. Come on, man, I'm breaking bread up in here. I can't run from mistakes. Vinico chiming into this conversation. I had 4 of those and the 5th was on faith. First, these motivation. 2nd, mentally change. And 3, and hard work. 3rd, victory. More to come. It wasn't easy, but it was always attainable. Speak, Vanico, speak. Thank you. Hey, if we in church, I say, way to be a witness. Way to be a witness, Vanico. Somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to hear that they struggle with these mistake gaps. And these growth trap gaps, they are real and they hinder us from becoming the best version of ourselves. These gaps are real. And here's the reality of it. The majority of people will never know what they are and even that they exist in their own lives. Why? Because I keep going back to it. The knowledge gap. They'll never know it because they're not seeking to know more. Let me break some more bread. Making mistakes are okay as long as you learn and you grow from them. Yeah, I'm going to say this one more time. Making mistakes is natural. Making mistakes is okay as long as you learn and you grow from them. I think making mistakes are a lot like taking the ACT. I don't know, a lot of us are up age, but back in the day when you take the ACT, every time you take the ACT, like I think there's 4 parts to the ACT. Every time you took the ACT, they took your high score from each part and they accumulated for you so you can have a higher score. So on the math part, if I made a 22 my first time and I made a 26 my second time and I made a 28 my third time, then they're going to always take the high score of the 3 and put it toward my ultimate score. And I think making mistakes is a lot like scoring for the ACT. I believe that the great I am recognizes that we make these decisions by faith. And as we make mistakes and we learn, he takes the higher of the 3. He take the mistakes that we learned the most from. And he said, hey, I'm going to move you a little farther because you made a decision in faith. Yeah, it didn't work out like you thought it did. But you know what? Let me move you forward 2 notches because you got back up and you started right back on the same journey. And I think that's the gap for a lot of us. We sometimes take mistakes to be permanent. Because I didn't pass it the first time, because I didn't get the loan the first time, because it didn't work for me the first time, because I'm doing these Motivational Mondays and I only see single digit odds, that means that this is not for me. No, it does. That's not what that means. It means that you might have to invest just a little bit more time. It might mean, like Vaniqua just says, you got to work a little harder. It might mean that there has to be some mental shifts in your brain before the great I am can ultimately reveal to you what your awakened I am can attain. Oh, I'm breaking bread tonight. A delay is never a denial. We don't see making mistakes as a bad thing. It's the only way that is one of the ways in which you learn something. Something that went wrong will show us where we can learn and where we can improve. Come on, man. It will show us where we can learn and where we can improve. See, most of us, we got to adopt this growth mindset. You see, a fixed mindset says that if I make a mistake, I stay there, I waddle in it, and I can't get past it. A growth mindset says, okay, I found one way it didn't work, then I got to keep Then I got to keep learning and growing in order to reach to the next level. I can't stop because I made one mistake. And if you think about your life over and over and over again, you've been getting up from mistakes. Now it's time to take your life to another level, that now I don't live from mistake to mistake. Now I live from knowledge to knowledge, or I live from victory to victory. And the fact that when I have a mistake, I learn and I grow. That's why it's important that you start journaling. I can't get into that. That's a whole nother Motivational Monday. But check this out. It's important that you start journaling your course to where you got to today. It's important that as you move forward, that you write down the recordings of your day so when you see it, you have a recording of how I overcame it. That's why I love doing these. I'm in corporate America. We do 30, 60, 90-day plans. I love doing those 30, 60, 90-day plans because it's always my path forward. When I see something, I say, I've seen that before. What did I do in the past to overcome it? How can I 10X it and do it better today? Come on, man, I'm breaking bread. Somebody got to holler at your boy. Vaniqua chiming into this mic. Thank you, Vaniqua, for being active tonight. Come on out there, YouTube. I need to hear from you. I still got people saying they can't find it. Vaniqua said, please, all caps, everyone listen to these motivations daily. Brother Anthony, you have no idea how you saved me. I'm delivering my testimony tomorrow on Lady Queen's prayer line. Man, y'all got to put your boy in. Let me know. Send me I need to get the number or whatever. Inbox me, or I'll reach out to Lady Queen, because I do want to hear that. But it's so real to what you're saying. Like, this information that are going across these airways can change your life. All I am is a living witness. I told you, I'm a player/coach. I make mistakes daily. I make mistakes daily with parenting. I make mistakes daily with coaching. I make mistakes daily with my speaking. I make them daily, but it ain't the fact that I stay in it. I don't stay in them. I learn and I progress. Vaniqua, if I get that number, I'm gonna do all I can to get on there. Believe that. I'll inbox Lady Queen at the end of this, and I know she'll send it to me, because I definitely want to hear that. And then anybody else on here, and you all want to hear Vaniqua give a testimony tomorrow, I'm pretty sure Lady Queen will be okay if you all join. So hit me up, and once I get the information, if you want to hear Vaniqua's testimony, Vaniqua's family on here, please hit me up so we can make sure that you're able to hear it also. But I plan on sliding in there and listening to it tomorrow, Vaniqua. You got my word on that. Making mistakes isn't a bad thing. And making a mistake is not a bad thing, so much so that the great I am knew you were going to make mistakes. Oh, that's the part I love about the great I am, that nothing catches him by surprise. The great I am knew so much so that you were going to make mistakes that he said this in Psalms 103. He said, the Lord is passionate and he's merciful, slow to get angry and filled with an unfailing love. He will not constantly accuse us, nor remain angry forever. He does not punish us for all our sins. He does not deal harshly with us as we deserve. For his unfailing love toward those who fear him is as great as the height of the heavens from the earth. The great I am knew we were going to have a mistake gap. So he built in a program when he built in a program when he made us to say, man, I got to cover their mistake gap. I'm their author and their finisher, but I also got to cover them with everything. Oh my God, that's awesome right there. I could really run out this room right now and go just shout all around this house that he wrote the system with a way to cover my mistakes. Oh my God. It say he's slow to anger. He's compassionate, filled with an unfailing love. Why do I need a God filled with an unfailing love? Because I am going to make some mistakes. I know. The motivational teacher to the masses know that they told you in church that just sin. I know that when you were in school, they told you you got the problem wrong, and getting the problem wrong is an absolute no. I know they judged your life based on a C or D that you made on a test. I know they did those things. I know they told you that you were defined by your mistake. Oh my God, that's a bread-breaking moment. They allow for you to be defined by your mistake, but I'm telling you, oh my God, I can run out this room. There's another level, because I'm sitting here and I think about all the mistakes I've made and how many times I've been forgiven as far as the East is from the West, and even the mistakes I'll make tomorrow, I'm okay to say I'm gonna make some more. That he will still throw my mistakes away as far as the East is from the West. I'm okay because he's slow to anger. Oh my God, that's a bread-breaking moment. You're worried about what you missed. He's like, no, baby, I ain't worried about what you missed. I'm the God of your gaps. I want you to get this thing right. I'm the author and the finisher. And boy, I'm so bad. I'm so big and I'm so bad. And I'm the great I am who's looking to awaken your I am. I've even covered you in the middle. Oh my, I got chill bumps around there. He's the God of my gaps. I ain't got to run away from the great I am. When I'm struggling, I can run to him because he is the God of my gaps. Oh, when I'm in the middle of a mess, I growing as a messy business. When I'm in the middle of a mess, I can go to him and say, oh, great I am. I need some help right now. Right now, I'm telling you right now, he's the God of my gaps. He doesn't deal harshly with us. He wants to see you good. Everything he made is good and very good. He wants to see you accomplish everything that he's given to you. Boy, I'm breaking some bread up in here tonight. The moment you start believing that you're not defined by your mistakes, I'm defined by what he said, it's the moment you move your life from natural to the supernatural. It's the moment where you walk out of your humanity and you live from your deity. Boy, if a human can learn how to walk out of their humanity and live from their deity, these are they that can turn this world upside. Man, do you not know that people, they were about to build a doggone staircase to heaven? Men, Homo sapiens, male, female alike, man, he had to come down and the Tower of Babel, he had to come down and confuse the language because they were on one accord and they were about to build a tower to heaven, from earth to heaven. And you trying to tell me that your mistakes stop you, or your mistakes stop you from attaining the total will of God for your life, or for the great I am to maximize your life while you're in this earth? Come on, man. Come on, man. Accept those mishaps. I'm telling you, accept them and say, I'm greater. I'm moving on. Yeah, they always talk about, that abortion I had. They always, that baby I had out of wedlock. That bastard child, they call him. They always talk about when my house foreclosed, or they talked about when my car went back, or they talked about how I should have had an NBA contract and I failed and didn't get it. And all those people want to judge me by what they saw as a mistake. And God said, boy, the great I am said, boy, the whole time I was growing you to be where you are today. Don't you dare judge yourself by what I've already washed away from your record. Boy, woo, come on, man. I can run out this room right now. You can't judge me by what he's already dismissed. That case against me has already been dismissed. He slammed the gavel. Bam, bam, bam. Dismissed. I paid the price. Oh my God, I'm about to run out this room. I already paid the price for what you went through. I've already paid the price for what you will go through. You lack no good thing. Man, I'm so far off my notes right now, boy. Woo! Boy, I'm telling you right now. Pumped up tonight, man. I know it's just us, YouTube. We gonna break the internet tonight. We gonna break the internet tonight. I'm telling you right now. The moment we start getting going, and people still hit me up wondering why we're not on yet. I'm just gonna have to let them know. We'll catch them next week. Cause right now we about to run. We're about to run. Like every reason that you give yourself, every excuse that you tell yourself, every mistake that you've made is already covered. If I approach my mistakes from the perception of, okay, I missed it, what can I learn? What did I miss? What can I take away from this situation to make me better the next time I see it? Or when my brother or sister see this same mistake, what can I take away from this miss that could help them in the future? It's not permanent. It is not permanent. Oh my God, that's a bread-breaking moment. The great I Am knew so much so that he tried to communicate to us that he has an unfailing love for us. He don't accuse us. Like where are your accusers? I mean, when Jesus stooped down and started writing in the dirt, when the lady was caught in adultery, he sat down and started writing in the dirt. He said, let he without sin cast the first stone. Ain't nobody got no rocks. Can't nobody in your circle that's trying to talk about you throw a rock because they got their own issues. Let he without sin cast the first stone. Bam. They dropped their stones and they walked away angry. Why? Because they were judgmental and they meant that lady no good and they meant nobody around them any good. And if you got people in your circles, the first thing they want to do is throw the stone. Hey, straightway, get up and walk away from that group of people because they mean you no good. They want to throw I remember when we used to go up in the club. I remember when we used to do this for money. I remember when we used to smoke these blunts. I remember when we used to get so drunk we couldn't get home. I remember when we used to just gamble all night. I remember. But you know what they don't remember? They don't remember when you shared your vision that you got something greater for you. You know what they don't remember? They don't remember your second birthday. You know what they don't remember? They don't remember that, hey, I ain't where I want to be, but I ain't where I used to be. Why they don't remember those things? Why? Because they're meant to try to keep you average. They're meant to try to keep you in the mud of your mistake. Get away from around people with that thinking. A mistake is simply another way that you found that does not work. And I really do believe that the great I Am reveals our heart to us through mistakes. Like I never would have known without going through debt, without going through a foreclosure, without losing a car, after making hundreds of thousands of dollars, I never would have known that my mindset, I had a mindset of poverty without going through that experience. Now, just like Job, God has given those things back to me over 5, 6 different over now at this stage of my life. But before he could give those things back to me multiplied, he first had to show me, boy, you got a mistake gap. You got a knowledge gap. You got to go get more information. So when I replenish you, when I redeem you, when I do it again, like it was meant to be, you won't squander it all because you're trying to hide what's on the inside by being big and bountiful on the outside. You're trying to hide your poverty mindset by riding in a big old luxury car. You're trying to hide that poverty mindset by buying a big old house, but that poverty mindset still resides in you. And before I can truly bring you out where you have nothing missing, nothing lacking, wholeness and soundness, I first got to deal with you. So don't think a mistake is meant to be forever. It's only a moment and a period of time where I had a mistake. and mistakes will happen. I love telling the story of James Dyson. James Dyson invented the Dyson vacuum cleaner. It took him 15 years and 5,127 failed attempts before he was able to build a functioning vacuum cleaner. Let me say that again. James Dyson, it took him 15 years, 5,127 failed attempts before he invented a version of the vacuum cleaner that was ready to go to market. Now, before we get into this conversation, how many of us are ready to invest 15 years? How many of us are ready to try 5,127 times and wait for our 5,128 time to come about? How many of us have that kind of discipline and committed to what we believe the great I am is giving us? How many of us are willing to make that sacrifice? How many of us are willing to show up on Monday nights? How many of us are willing to listen to this over and over and over and over again until I see the change in my life? What's important is not just that Dyson would stay patient, but he stayed resilient. He stayed resilient. How many of us are man? Come on, man. Come on, man. How many of us are resilient enough to show up Monday after Monday, 2 hours, 3 hours, technology not functioning properly? I'm showing up anyway. How many of us are willing to go and do hours and hours and hours of personal development and growth? So when I sit down, that I give the great I am a well to draw from. That's a bread breaking moment. How many of us are willing to go to the banks and get rejected over and over and over again until we're able to see what we said we see on the inside of us? I'm telling you right now, what I see physically is fake. And the things that I see on the inside of me are more real than what I see physically. And the moment we start gaining that mindset that the things that what I know is more real than what I see, that resilience, that patience, that determination, or I like this, that doggonedness is what arises from the inside of us. I got a friend right now, as I speak. They are building their own neighborhood. Come on, man. Thank you, Vaniqua. They're building their own neighborhood from the fact that they're clearing the land, they paving the streets to the neighborhood, they putting the water underground, they're putting the sewage underground. They are building their own neighborhood, piece by piece. And as I was talking to my friend, he was telling me about some of the mistakes that he made along the way. And he actually gave me the dollar amount of how much the mistakes cost. And he was saying, man, look, I learned this. And I'm thinking to myself, like this is a setup. Like, you're doing this now for this neighborhood, but guess what God got on the inside of you? He got 3 more neighborhoods on the inside of you in 3 different cities. So all that valuable knowledge that you learn from those mistakes can now profit you money on the back end. See, don't despise your mistakes. Don't despise your mistakes because James Dyson has built a $1 billion company by making 15 years of investment, 5,127 mistakes. He's built a $1 billion company. Now, some people look at the version of the vacuum cleaner that works and say, wow, look at that vacuum cleaner that he created. No, it's just not one vacuum cleaner. That one vacuum cleaner ready to go to market represents 15 years and over 5,000 failed attempts. And people look and say, oh, I could have done that vacuum cleaner. And James Dyson is like, that represents 15 years. See, most of us, we're only looking to the finished product, and we're looking forward to the finished product. When I get my 5,128th attempt, see, most of us, most humans, I ain't gonna say most of us, most Homo sapiens don't want to go through the 5,000 failures in order to get the one that works. See, the one that works represents 15 years of my life. That one that works represents all the failed attempts. The ones represents, it equals the millions of dollars that I lost that I was trying to build the right prototype in order to take to market. Oh, no, he got lucky. No, he didn't get lucky. It was 15 years of investment. It was 15 years. And see you crying, oh, I wish I hadn't wasted that time. In the kingdom, you never waste time. The great I am does not waste time. Every experience, whether good or bad, is used for your personal growth and development. The great I am never wastes time. You never go through anything that the great I am is not aware of, that he's not using to build you and to mold you into a better version of who you're supposed to be. That's a bread breaking moment. I thought it was meant to take me out. No. He was just using to groom you. He was using it to make you a better version. Don't worry about that mistake. You got many more in your life. So, James Dyson, never, bread broken. Thank you, Faniqua. James Dyson. So I kind of read his story, and I came up with 3 life lessons from James Dyson. And here's the thing: why I used to, when I was early on, before I became the motivational teacher, I used to always give 3 steps to greatness, or 5 steps to the life you want, or 8 steps to creating happiness. And when I was brand new, because they said that's what people wanted to see. So if you go back and look at my earlier work, you always see X amount of steps, because that's what they said people wanted to see in order to grow views. But what I've come into the knowledge of as I've grown into the motivational teacher is that because I give you 8 steps that work for me doesn't necessarily mean the same 8 steps will work for you. Because the great I am awakens your I am. Your I am will be awakened totally different than mine. So you trying to walk 3 steps that the great I am gave me does nothing significant for your life, because your process is different. What I want for you all to get are the principles from the story, and not necessarily the steps, because the principles remain true. He wanted me to be the best of the best. Now that I've attained it, watch me and live it and go get it. I love you. But Vanika, the one thing you have is consistency. You are consistent, you are persistent, and I'm telling you, God rewards those people that just show up. I'm telling you, man, like just by being in the atmosphere, you get certain things. I'm telling you, like some days you might not feel like it, you got to show up. And that, I'm telling you, man, being consistent, being persistent, those are things, being resilient, being patient, those are qualities that you must possess in order to inherit the kingdom. You got to. So 3 steps, or 3 life lessons from Dyson's. The first one I want to say is mistakes are life lessons. Every mistake you make is a valuable lesson gained. Mistakes are a way of teaching you. Grateful joy. That's what I'm talking about, Vanika. And I promise you, you're going to get to the top of that mountain. Every mistake is a valuable lesson learned. It's not wasted. It's not an experiment that went wrong. It's not going out in the trash with the other debris. Every mistake taken is a lesson learned. You learn through every mistake you make, even if it's a little one. If it's hard to admit that you made a mistake, but once you do it, it feels so much better. I meant to put that in there. That's another one. Like, there's so many of us are so self-righteous and so full of pride that we're afraid of either admitting we made a mistake, or we're afraid of admitting that I missed the mark, or we're afraid that there's, hey, man, I missed it today. We're so self-righteous, we're so prideful, and we feel like we got to do it in our own might and ability. I got to tell you, even now on job interviews, I look for people who are able to point out their mistakes. I look for people who could tell me areas that they need to grow. I have more confidence in a person that being coachable, and want more talking to people that tell me, like, look, man, this is the area where I need to grow. I'm looking for a coach who can help coach me in this area. I'm more acceptable to hire that person than I am somebody I won the last 10 years of my career. Why? Because I'm looking for someone that has a growth mindset, someone that's vulnerable enough to say, I ain't got it all together, and I know there are areas where I have to grow in order to attain the best version of myself. And that's the thing I want us to know about life. You aren't the only one that make mistakes. We've all done it. And if the smart people not only learn from their mistakes, but they look at the mistakes of others and they learn from those. Like, we don't live long enough to make every mistake, so I have to begin to learn from the mistakes of others. If you had a mistake, I need to take away the valuable lesson in that miss. I do not live long enough to make all the mistakes and still encounter my glory for my life. What's up, Q? You're the first person from Facebook. There was a glitch earlier, so I appreciate you hopping on, bro, and let me know it's all good. Lesson number 1, mistakes are life lessons. Oh, lesson number 2. Lesson number 2 is a bread-breaking moment. Mistakes don't dictate your life. One mistake doesn't dictate the rest of your life. Forgetting to study for one test doesn't dictate the rest of your life. Having one bad day or having one bad moment during a day does not dictate the rest of your life. You got to stop taking so much pressure off yourself to live a perfect life. A perfect life does not exist. A perfect straight up and down journey to greatness does not exist. Mistakes simply mean to learn and be stronger. To learn and be stronger. Rebounding from a mistake is one of the best things that you can do. Resiliency is one of the best things you can do. Kobe shot those 4 air balls in his first playoffs that dictated the game. And Kobe came back. They said, Kobe, how did that make you feel? He said, at the moment I was angry. He said he had to go through a weekend. He said, Kobe, you got to get over yourself. Like, you're not a God. You're not somebody that's so high and so great that you're not supposed to make mistakes. And then Kobe said he came to the decision of how he made those mistakes. Oh, I was short because I got to get stronger. So next season, the season before I was in high school, I played a 32-game season. NBA is an 82-game season. So, okay, my legs will be there next year. I got to go work my legs out so they can be stronger at the end of the season. So, motivational teacher, what am I saying? Those mistakes are meant to show you your gap so you can work and feel it and get stronger. And get stronger. It was meant to show you your gap. I tell my son, I tell my basketball team, every game we play, come on, Q, you know this, every game we play is for your growth and development. My goal, this is going to sound bad coming from a coach, my goal ain't to win 100% of our games. If we win 100% of our games, we're not playing the right competition. Because when I play the right competition, it uncovered gaps because we learned about an area that we didn't know before. It's games, this is what coaches get it wrong. Games are measuring sticks for growth and development. All right, we played. I was zoned in work. We didn't have anybody dropping on the backside of that 3-2 to box out. So that means we got to keep working. I was zoned in work. We got to do better. So at practice, the next practice, we're going to work on that backside guy dropping down to box out. Games, oh my God. Games are just growth and development opportunities. Don't feel like you got to win every game. Don't think you got to win every interview. Don't think you got to win every day. Don't think you got to win them. Take the pressure of living a life of perfection. And we got the perfection gap coming up soon. Give yourself room to miss it in order to make it. Mistakes don't dictate your life. If he forgave you, you forgive you. Last but not least, the third lesson from James Dyson. You can try again. Having the opportunity to fix a mistake is one of the greatest perks of making a mistake. If you hurt someone, you can apologize and make amends. If you fail the test, strive to do better next time. If you make a mistake again, because everyone does, you can apply what you learned from the first time, and the rebuilding process should be shorter the second time. You can try again. The one thing I love about a human being is that we're not finite. We are not finite. If I lack something, I can grow it. So since I'm not finite, even the mistakes I make are not infinite. Oh my God, that's a bread-breaking moment. The mistakes, I am not finite. So if I'm not finite, that means my mistakes aren't infinite. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. I know. The world has told you that when you make a mistake, you got to sit back, repent, do sackcloth, do ashes. You made a mistake. You got to sit back and wallow in in the, you got a chapter 7:13. You got 7 years to wallow in it and figure how you gonna get out of it. I know you went through a foreclosure. You got you got to fix your credit 7 years, and all you could be doing those 7 years as a renter. No, 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 no. That is incorrect. I am a living witness. The moment you start building from the inside out, you change what they perceive from the outside in. You look at my credit score now, your boy in the 800s, but it hadn't always been that way. I remember one time I couldn't even get a credit card. They wouldn't even give me a credit card because my credit was so bad. But it was all about learning from my mistakes, learning from the mistakes of others in order to give myself new information so I can create new thoughts so I can have a different outcome. You can try again. Failure is not final. Failure is not fatal. You found one way when you found one way that didn't work, you got 5,126 more times. And it's okay because he is the author and finisher of your faith, and he's already atoned for the gaps in between. He's the God of my gaps. Awaken your I am. Man, I'm telling you, man, like, Vaniqua, I'm with you. I wouldn't miss a Monday. And even if I don't show up on Monday, I will go back and listen to a replay of another Monday. Because I'm just telling you, man, like I'm just saying, for my family, and we're experiencing explosive growth. Like, yeah, growth mentally, growth spiritually, growth financially, but just seeing that mean that we don't have gaps, and that we don't have days where we have problems, days we're so tired we just need to sleep, or days where my wife and I would snap at each other because of lack of rest. I mean, those things are normal. I mean, those are normal to have some issues in life, such as life. Les Brown says you're either in a storm, going through a storm, or coming out of a storm, such as life. You're going to have those areas, but here's how you stay grounded. Personal growth and development. How do I learn from what went wrong? Like, I mean, like, this is the busiest I've ever been in my life, but man, it's the most fulfilled I've ever been in my life. And the great I am is opening so many doors, honestly, that I didn't even know existed. Let me just give you one example. Like, my wife and I did the coin toss for the first playoff game with the Hawks the other night. Like, we were out there on the floor flipping the coin to see who gets heads or tails at the middle, when the referee, not flipping the coin, when the referees were asking them, giving them, say, hey, who's the captain? These are the rules. And it was giving them the talk at the center court. We were out there on the court. Like, I didn't even know that existed. I didn't even know that existed. Man, I'm telling you, he's the God of new beginnings. Like I'm telling you right now, like, all of these things are being added. I'm not even looking for them. They're being added to us because of personal growth and development. How can I develop a stronger relationship with the great I am? How can I reveal myself in a greater way that the great I am lives through me? I'm looking for ways to get outside of my comfort zone, to TNT, try new things. I'm looking for different ways to see how can I stretch, because I can't grow if I don't stretch. There has to be tension in order to have growth. And during that tension, you're going to make some mistakes. You might get an attitude. You might have a blow up. You might get mad. But all of those are a part of this journey, man. And you got to be quick. You got to be quick. You got to be eager to forgive. You got to be able to forgive quickly and get over things quickly. That's what I'm learning in this season of my life, that I can't sit here and just ponder on how I made that mistake. Okay, I made the mistake. What's the lesson? That mistake doesn't dictate my life. I can get up from this. I can grow from this. It's another version of helping me come to myself without having to go to the pig pen. I told you, people that have a personal growth development plans never have to live from miracle to miracle, because they're always in gap management. What can I learn? How can I be better? This is what I do well. This is what I need to do better. After every basketball game, my sons, we get in the car and I say, give me one thing you did well and one thing you can improve. Because that game was only meant for growth and development. I'm not going to sit down and just, you played the worst game of your life. No, we don't have those conversations anymore. I did about 3 years ago 4 years ago, before I started doing these Motivational Mondays. It was a whole ride home. I was riding. You got to do this. You got to do that. We worked on this. We worked on that. You didn't do that. You didn't do this. Every game is different. And every stage that you grow is different. If it's only for your growth and development. These games count for nothing. And I'm saying the same thing for you. You judge yourself harshly on one decision, one bad decision that you made, and you've been judging yourself for 15 years. And the great I am said, man, it's already covered. Get over it. Get over you. I've already got you. Either you're gonna believe in me or you're gonna believe in you. Who you want to awaken your I am. Either you're gonna awaken your I am or you're gonna allow the great I am to awaken. That's the conversation we got to start having. Because I'm telling you, man, a lot of these things that we were heard growing up are just not true. And the quicker we're able to get rid of some of this garbage in that we got growing up, it's from our environmental mental shaping. The moment we're able to start getting rid of some of that garbage, the moment we start pulling in the right information in order to give us a different result. But as long as we stay around the same group of people that has always fed us the same story that only leads us to average, you're going to always stay there. We got to get beyond that. And it's okay to say, wave goodbye to some people. It's okay to say, hey, you were part of my mistake gap. Now I'm taking this knowledge that I need to move on and find something different for my life. I love it, Vaniqua. Nothing in life that's worth it will come easy. It's not meant to be easy. That's why narrow is the way. Narrow is the way that leads to eternity. Narrow is the way that leads to destiny. It's narrow because it's worth it. And let me tell you something else. You're worth it. Man, I appreciate y'all, mainly YouTube and Q, for hopping on here with your boy tonight. Tonight, episode 141 of Awaken Your I Am, Growth Trap Gap. Tonight, we talked about the mistake gap. It's okay. Get over it, get by it, get past it. Let's keep it moving because he's kept it moving. And until next time, I am challenging you all to wage war on mediocrity. Have a great night and a great week. Vaniqua, I'm going to reach out to Lady Queen. I plan on listening tomorrow night. Y'all have a wonderful week.
It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war, wage a war, wage a war, wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war, wage